Well, hi everyone, it's Marcus. I'm really lucky today because I am speaking to somebody who bloody nails Elvis Presley like nobody else that I've seen. Please, everyone, welcome Anthony Petrucci. How are you, Anthony?
I'm awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate the intro.
Oh my goodness. I need you to know that I grew up knowing everything about Elvis because my mum was the biggest fan. I don't know how I don't know how old you are, so it doesn't even really matter. But I remember I came home from school one particular afternoon and my mum was crying, hysterical. She was very upset. I said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Elvis has died. So we had Elvis through our household growing up. I feel like I know every nuance of Elvis. And so when I came across you, when I saw you do your thing, I thought, wow, this guy knows it. So thus
Thank
the
you.
intro.
Appreciate it.
Um,
Thank you.
why Elvis? What is it about Elvis that attracts you to his music or his style or what?
You know what? I've been asked that question my whole career, and in a nutshell, everything about Elvis was magnetic to me. I mean, I was drawn to his sound. I was drawn to his image. I was drawn to his um, outlook and an approach to his craft and his art, and just the way he went about it, and also the way he carried himself as a person as well. I think he knew exactly what he was doing at all times, and it was always in control.
What did you think of the movie that came out, oh, good 2, 3 years ago now, with obviously Tom Hanks in one of the roles? What do you think of that movie? Did you see it?
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I mean, give me any Elvis content and I'll soak it up and
Take it up.
enjoy it. So it's pretty hard not to please me when it comes to giving me Elvis content.
Of course, Austin Butler, I think his name was, who played Elvis at
Awesome.
that point.
Yeah,
I mean, he did a really good job, didn't he? I mean, his appearance, he got
absolutely.
mannerisms down. It was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up watching the Kurt Russell um Elvis movie
Yep.
by John Carpenter, which was back in soon after he passed. It's
Yeah.
79, I think it was released.
Yep.
So that was pretty fresh, and that was what I grew up with,
Mm.
and I loved it. I mean, for me, Kurt Russell is always going to be. I mean, who doesn't love Kurt Russell? But
I
him
do.
as Elvis, yeah, there was something special about it. But I got to say, I really enjoyed Baz's approach to the film itself,
Yeah.
and Austin's portrayal.
Yeah. 100%. When you were growing up, did you watch, and possibly even now, did you watch all the Elvis movies, all of his musicals that he did?
Absolutely, yeah. I grew up watching him. I mean, I watched a lot of television when I was growing up. Actually, I still watch a lot of television, but um, back then, an Elvis movie was a sure thing on a weekend, and even during the week sometimes, and that's how I got introduced to his films. I mean, I loved the cheesy ones, the dramatic ones. To me, I enjoyed all of them, and then from his movies, I transitions to his live performance documentaries and films, and there was just nothing that I couldn't get enough of it.
What would be, I mean, you probably appreciate every single song of his for good reason, but name me a couple of songs that really stand out for you as, personal favorites for whatever reason.
Uh, there's I'm partial to his ballads. I
Yep.
mean, I love his sentimental music, and then there's songs from each, I would say, decade, but there's almost from each year that he recorded in the studio or live performances, and I could cherry pick from those, and just to name a few. Uh, I mean, apart from the big classics like Surrender and It's Now or Never, there were so many other good ones that I mean, Words. I love Words from '69 that made it into the live shows for a brief period. Um, but then there's also his gospel material, which is I think from the heart. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Amazing. Okay, big question. Are you ready for it? Um,
I'll try there.
I'm going to give it a shot. The white jumpsuit or
Yeah.
the leather suit? What's your favorite?
I would have to go black leather for the timeless look of it.
So
I love the
would wear
jumpsuits.
that. I would wear it in a flash.
You could wear it today. The
Yeah,
jumpsuits definitely look like a specific time period.
yeah,
I think that the black leather has just got a timeless look about it.
brilliant. Now, fast forward to your career, my dear Anthony. I think it was about 2005, correct me if I'm wrong, that you appeared on Starstruck. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your career just went through the roof. Because of that, you went to Las Vegas to perform in Legends in Concert, which is iconic. I actually saw Legends in Concert back in, oh, I think it was the late 90s when I was in Vegas. And again, I mean, Legends in Concert's been around since 1983.
mm,
And I know for a fact that you, at the age of 20 at the time that you performed with them, was the youngest person to ever play Elvis in their show. Um, Tell me
yeah.
about those days. How heady was that for you?
Well, I didn't, but my career was basically non-existent before Starstruck. So I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't working. It was just something. It was purely a passion for me, and that really was something that I took me a while to deal with because, like I said, I wasn't working. I wasn't familiar with the industry, and so the show itself really sped that process up for me and took me to a place that I never imagined. And then to be able to go on after that to perform in the Legends in Concert in Vegas was pretty surreal for me.
Mm.
And now when I look back on it, I can't believe sometimes that it actually happened.
I mean, look, lucky for us, you are back in Australia now because obviously there's a bit of a show coming up in Adelaide very soon, which we'll get to. But what was it that brought you back to Australia after being in Vegas for those performances, those shows?
I, I spent a pretty limited time in Vegas. I have spent mainly the better part of my life here in Australia, performing in shows around the country and playing in shows in Melbourne. So I have spent majority of my time here. But I mean, I'd go back to America in a heartbeat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Hey, so let's talk about Anthony Petrucci, is Elvis, the show that is coming to Adelaide, playing at the Regal Theatre, not very far away, actually. It's only the 1st of February. There's a matinee and an evening show. What can we expect from your stage show?
We do bring all the hits. Well, I mean, as many as we can in such a small time frame. To perform Elvis's catalog would, as much as we'd love to, would just take us too long.
Yeah.
But you will hear the classics, the hits, and the people, the gold records that Elvis was most well known for. But we do like to include other songs that don't really get as much. I wouldn't say recognition, but don't really get performed as much.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's got so much of that too, and we are pretty limited with the time, with the duration that we have on stage. So we try and keep it, have that kind of that blend and that mix. And in terms of presenting it in a kind of more of a modernized take and just having the arrangements as he had them, but just with a kind of a fresh sound and having him a bit more kind of I wouldn't say, I mean, because his music was, I believe, timeless, but just making them sound like that they could be performed and heard today on any national radio station, which is well, we'd love to hear, but
Hey, obviously, Elvis had some pretty crazy fans during his time. There were some pretty wild antics going on. What's the craziest fan experience that you've had being Elvis?
you know what? I haven't really had anything too crazy.
No
But
underwear on stage?
what's that?
No underwear on stage at this point?
No, look, I have had a few people actually join me on stage when they're really not allowed to. But apart from that, I mean, if they're having a good time, the crazier the better. Like it's all about their enjoyment, and we've got a job to do and put on a show. As much as we're trying to enjoy ourselves, which I do naturally because I love doing what I do. But if they're having a great time, they can go as crazy as they want. That they're paying their money to see and enjoy themselves. So it's really about them. I mean, that 90 minutes that we're on stage, as much as we're trying to, or I should speak for myself, enjoy myself and soak up and enjoy what I'm doing. It's about them. They're the ones that are paying their hard-earned money to come and see a show, and so they can go as crazy as they want.
Well, my mum's coming, so you know what? Expect crazy, all right? Just a heads
I
up.
will.
Hey, tell us about the band. How big is it?
Our band is pretty modest. I mean, we've got a three-piece band, and we've got a lot of the rest of the instrumentation on tracks with us. So we don't travel with a huge band, which is sometimes getting those big bands is great, but it's also ballooning the cost of the show itself. So we try and keep it kind of in a kind of medium range and get as much of that sound from us on stage, and then as well as filling it out with strings and horns and all the other sounds and instruments on track.
I saw a post the other day on the show, and I did notice one of the comments come in. Does he wear the white jumpsuit?
Not in this show.
In this show, okay.
Not in this show. So we try and keep it to a time period where before Elvis went Vegas in.
Yep.
So before the jumpsuits. I mean, as much as we love the jumpsuit period, I think it kind of ties into what I was saying before about my choice being the black leather, having that timeless look.
Yep.
And like I said, as much as we love jumpsuits,
yep,
we're trying to keep that modern feel and timeless look. And I think it's hard to do with the jumpsuit. As much as people love it and as much as we love it, it does make it challenging when we're going for a specific look.
You're the young Elvis.
Well, I don't know how much longer I can keep up the young Elvis for.
I love it.
For as long as I can.
Anthony Petrucci, what a lovely delight chatting with you. On behalf of my mother, she can't wait for the show. It is, of course, like we said, the 1st of February, Saturday, the 1st of February. There is a 2 o'clock show. There's an 8 o'clock show at Regal Theatre. We will put the link for the tickets in the post that we're going to do with this video. And Anthony, I can't wait to see you in Adelaide in a short 3 weeks' time.
Look, I'm counting down the days, and I don't know if you realise, but today is the birthday of Elvis.
I had no idea. Well, now we're not wrapping it up. If you had the opportunity to give Elvis a gift today, what would it be?
Wow.
And it can be immaterial as well.
Immaterial.
Immaterial or material, whatever.
I think that's a tough one because he's the gift to us. So giving him a gift would maybe a mirror, because that's probably the one thing that would reflect back to him that would make the most sense.
Anthony, that is perfect. Now that we're continuing on this video, we thought we'd wrap it up 10 minutes ago. Clearly, that's not the case, but we've got interesting things to say. Hey, it would be terribly remiss of me to make a point out that you have not mentioned my jungle room.
You know what? I saw a few things behind you. One being the jungle room, and the other one being the Rob Mills poster.
Oh yeah, because you know Rob. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
and I love the jungle room though.
Well, thank you. I'll send a couple of plants your way. We can turn that little studio into your jungle room. All right.
We can put them up there near the guitar and the frames.
I love it. Anthony, a true delight. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to catch up with you when you hit Adelaide.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time, and it's a pleasure to chat with you anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Markus.